we are going to see programmed instruction in self-learning process. In this programmed instruction, the program outcome we are going to see is our main focus is to bring desirable changes in cognitive domain of the learner's behavior, and then analyzing the structure of teaching method, then self-learning process at their own pace. Here the headings we are going to see is programmed instruction. In programmed instruction, what is the introduction of the programmed instruction, meaning, definition, styles, or types, and then advantages and disadvantages. Now the introduction. What is programmed instruction is? A programmed instruction or programmed learning is one of the important innovations in teaching learning process. This programmed instruction is it was originally introduced in the mid of 1950s by the behaviorist B.F. Skinner. The programmed instruction is a system whereby the learner uses specially prepared books or equipments to learn without a teacher. Without the help of the teacher, a programmer, the learner can learn without a teacher's help. It was initiated to free teachers' books or burdensome drills and repetitive problem solving in teaching basic academic subjects like spelling, arithmetic, and reading. Here's Skinner, and what made him to introduce this programmed instruction is one day B.F. Skinner attended the opening day of his daughter's school. He found that most of the instructions given by the teachers were ineffective. So he decided to solve such problem in the field of education. Then B.F. Skinner published a paper entitled Science of Learning and Art of Teaching. This paper leads the way for the programmed instruction. He claimed that desirable behavior can be brought out by continuous feedback. Thereafter, Sidney L. Presey designed a teaching machine for teaching purpose. First, in the traditional method, we use the teaching method. That is, the teacher teaches the subject to the learners, that is, to the students. And then the instruction method, the instruction has been given by the teacher or by the books. Then B.F. Skinner develops the programmed instruction. What is the definition of programmed instruction is? It's a progressively monitored step-by-step teaching method employing small units of information or learning material and frequent testing, whereby the student must complete or pass one stage before moving on to the next. It is a completely monitored step-by-step teaching method with small units of information in frequent testing with a complete student where can the students can complete the next stage before moving to the previous stage before moving to the next stage. Method of teaching in which the information to be learned is presented in discrete units with a correct response to each unit record before the learner may advance to the next unit. This is the teaching machine invented by Sidney L. Presey, and this is the teaching machine by B.F. Skinner. Now we are going to see the aims and objectives of programmed instruction. What is the aims and objectives of programmed instruction is? The main focus of programmed instruction is to bring desirable change in cognitive domain of learners' behavior, as we see in the before. The main objectives of the programmed instructions are to help the students in learning by doing. We should help the students, that is, the programmed instruction helps the students in learning by doing. What they have learned, they will do. And then to provide the learners situation. What is the situation? So that they can learn at their own speed. To help the students to learn in the absence of the teacher. Without the help of the teacher, the students can learn the material, that is the content. To help students in assessing their own performance themselves, they assess their performance by themselves by comparing with the given answers. Now we are going to see advantages of programmed instruction. What are the advantages of programmed instruction is? There is a chance to learn material at their own speed. It keeps the student active and alert throughout the process. Complex subjects matter into easy and systematic manner so that the learner can learn easily. It can be used in self-instructional devices. The limitations of the programmed instructions are, it's a time-consuming process. And then there are lack of motivation. There is no motivation at all to the learner. They should themselves motivated. then the contact between the teacher and the students gets eliminated. Here there is no interaction between the teacher and the student. So some of the doubts cannot be clarified with the help of the teachers. And there is no freedom of choice. There is no freedom of choice. We should follow the frame what has been instructed to us. The types of programmed instruction. What are the types of programmed instructions? There are 6 types of styles of programmed instruction: linear or extrinsic programming, branching or intrinsic programming, mathematics programming, rule system of programming, computer assisted instruction, learner controlled instruction. First 3 types, that is the linear, branching and mathematics, represent actual basic formats. Rule system represents inductive and deductive approach. Computer assisted instruction and learner controlled instruction is the ways and means of providing the instruction. What is linear programming is? It was proposed by B.F. Skinner and his associates in 1954. Instructional material is sequenced into a number of meaningful small steps called frames. That is frame 1, 2, 3rd frame, 4th frame, 5th. That is, first is the primary behavior and the 5th is last one is the last behavior. These frames are arranged in sequence, starts from initial frame and ends at the terminal frame following the same sequence. Here the learner should actually respond to each step, and then immediate confirmation about the correctness of the responses is given immediately, and then it reinforces and motivates the learner to proceed to next frame at his own speed. It is dependent upon the speed of the learner. Every student must go through each and every frame in a straight line. Hence, it is called a linear program. It is also called single track program. This is the example for a linear programming that is sequenced in a frame, that is first frame. These are 4 shoots. These are found in standard decks of cards. There is the content is given, and then the immediate response, that is immediate question has been asked. That is, how many suits are in a deck? How many suits are there in a deck? There are 4 suits. That is the answer. Then after the frame, one shoot is called spades. The spade shoot is always colored black. A second shoot is called hearts. The heart shoot is always colored red. What's the color of the spade shoot? What is the color of the spade shoot? The answer is, it is black color. This is the answer. This is the example for linear programming. Fundamental principles of linear programming is, it's in the small steps. Even the complex can be given in the small steps so the learner can understand easily. And then there should be an active participation and responding in the learning process. And then reinforcement. What is the reinforcement? They go in depth to the knowledge to gain the knowledge of the programmed. And then self-pacing. This is the own speed of the learner. Then immediate self-evaluation has been done. They can evaluate themselves with the self-evaluation process, and then immediate feedback has been given whether they are right or wrong. In the characteristics of linear programming, it represents a linear arrangement composed on single track form. That is, in the first frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, like that, from the primary to the end behavior. It's in the arrangement of a single track program. The learning material is presented in the form of frames. Since the frames are sequentially presented, the chances of error is reduced because there is no confusion. So, if in the single track, it's very easy for the learner to do without the error. Then the learner gets immediate feedback for his response. Learner has to actually respond to each frame. If they respond to them, if it is correct, it will go to the next frame. It is self-pacing and emphasizes more on self-learning. It is depending upon their own speed. Limitations of linear programming. In this process of learning, and this program is quite dull and uninteresting. It is limited to certain topics and subjects. The learner's creativity, thinking, guiding, and imaginary potentialities are reduced in this program due to the thinking power is stopped there. There is no chances for the learner to create anything or think or for their imaginary potentialities. It may encourage us guessing and thus abstract true learning. then it can be used for teaching purpose only, not for remedial purposes. And it does not provide social motivation.